I woke up with my girlfriend's perfect cousin, and now I can't stop destroying my life. The sting of Sarah's palm against my cheek was still burning when the front door slammed shut, muffled by the thumping bass of the party. Everyone in the living room had gone silent for a split second, watching the reliable boyfriend get humbled by the girl who had spent the last 3 years keeping him on a short leash. Sarah was done with me for the night. She told me to go home, called me a pathetic drunk, and vanished into the driveway. But I didn't want to go home to an empty apartment and the inevitable "we need to talk" text. I wanted to drown out the ringing in my ears. I stayed, downed 3 more shots of something that tasted like gasoline, and watched the room start to tilt. The walls felt like they were closing in, the laughter of my friends sounding like distorted static. I needed a bed, not a taxi. I stumbled my way toward the stairs, dodging sweaty bodies, and dragged myself up to the 2nd floor. I pushed open a random door, didn't even bother to turn on the light, and collapsed onto the mattress. The last thing I remember was the smell of expensive jasmine and the feeling of silk sheets against my skin. I woke up at 4 a.m. with a dry mouth and a heart that felt like it was trying to escape my chest. The moonlight was cutting through the blinds in silver strips, illuminating the room just enough for me to realize I wasn't alone. I felt a weight against my side, a soft, rhythmic breathing that didn't match Sarah's. I turned my head slowly, praying it was a dream, but there she was, Catherine, the cousin Sarah had spent her whole life being compared to. The girl who wasn't just beautiful, but was a local legend, the kind of woman who moved through our town like she owned every soul in it. Men didn't just want her, they obsessed over her. And here she was, stripped down to her lace underwear, her arm draped across my chest as if we had been together for years. I froze, my breath hitching in my throat. I thought I was still hallucinating from the alcohol until she opened her eyes. She didn't scream. She didn't push me away. She just looked at me with a slow, predatory smile and whispered, "Sarah's always been so loud, hasn't she? I thought you'd never wake up." That night should have been the end of it. I should have bolted out of that room, begged for Sarah's forgiveness, and never looked Catherine in the eye again. But when Catherine reached out and traced the line of my jaw, right where Sarah had slapped me, I didn't move. She whispered that she had watched the way Sarah treated me for years, that I was wasted on a girl who didn't appreciate what she had. There was a magnetism to her that was impossible to resist, a gravity that pulled me away from my morality and into her bed. By the time the sun started to rise, I hadn't just cheated, I had crossed a line that turned my entire life into a lie. I left the house like a thief, sneaking out the back entrance, feeling the weight of the betrayal sitting in my stomach like lead. But the lead didn't stay heavy for long. Within 48 hours, the guilt was replaced by a frantic, buzzing addiction. I was at dinner with Sarah and her family on Sunday, sitting across from her parents, when Catherine walked in. She looked perfect, as usual, wearing a sundress that made every man in the restaurant turn his head. She greeted Sarah with a hug, played the role of the sweet, supportive cousin, and then her foot found mine under the table. She stared me right in the eye while she asked Sarah how our relationship was going. I nearly choked on my drink, my face flushing, but Catherine just smirked. I realized then that she didn't just want me, she wanted the thrill of taking me. She wanted the power of knowing she was destroying her perfect cousin's world from the inside out. The first time was a mistake. The second time was a choice. We started meeting in the most dangerous places. She would text me a location, a secluded trailhead, a parking garage, a motel on the edge of the county, and I would lie to Sarah, telling her I was working late or helping my brother. Every time I touched Catherine, I felt like I was burning my soul to the ground, and yet I couldn't stop. It wasn't just about the physical act, it was the way she looked at me, like I was the only man who could handle her. She made me feel powerful, a feeling Sarah had systematically stripped away from me over the years. But the price was my sanity. I started seeing Catherine's jasmine scent everywhere. I'd come home to Sarah, who was suddenly being extra nice to make up for the slap at the party, and I'd have to scrub my skin until it was raw to get rid of the evidence. The infidelity became a cycle I couldn't break. One night, Sarah went away for a weekend bridal shower, And within 20 minutes of her car leaving the driveway, Catherine was at my door. She didn't even say hello. She just walked in, threw her bag on the counter, and said, "She's gone. Isn't she? Good. I'm tired of sharing." That weekend was a blur of absolute depravity. We didn't leave the house. We ate on the floor, slept during the day, and spent the nights exploring every inch of the life I was supposed to be sharing with her cousin. I felt like a ghost haunting my own home. I looked at the photos of me and Sarah on the walls, the vacation in Mexico, the anniversary dinner, and they looked like pictures of people I didn't know anymore. It's been 6 months now. I am still with Sarah. We're actually talking about moving in together, and our families are thrilled. They think we're the stable couple of the group. But every Tuesday and Thursday, I am in a locked room with Catherine. The frequency hasn't slowed down, it's escalated. She started leaving little markers for me to find. A hair tie in my glove box, a smudge of lipstick on a collar I haven't worn in weeks. She's playing a game of chicken with my life, waiting to see how close to the edge she can push me before I snap. She told me last week that she's tired of the motels. She said, "I want to be in the room when she's home. I want to see if you can keep a straight face while I'm standing right behind her." I know how this ends. I know that eventually, the truth will come out and it will incinerate 2 families, a dozen friendships, and my own reputation. Sarah doesn't deserve this. She's a good person who just has a temper, but she's loyal to a fault. And here I am, the man she trusts most, sleeping with the one person she thinks is her sister. I hate myself every time I look in the mirror, but then my phone buzzes. There's a photo from Catherine, a shot of her in her bedroom with a caption that says, "I'm bored. Come over and tell me you love her again." And like a dog on a leash, I start the car. I am a passenger in my own destruction, and the worst part is, I'm not even trying to grab the wheel anymore. I'm just waiting for the crash.